He prepared for Purple Rain in a way that he never did any other album. It was forced patience on him.
Yeah.
On most albums, he was done in a second, 3 weeks done. He really had to think about it. He could replace tracks. The film slowed him down.
Never stopped writing, never stopped recording. I wanted to be different. It ended up being sort of a period of time where I could just reflect and get my head on straight.
To play music is one of the greatest things, to create something from nothing.
And that created time for him to reflect. There was things that happened that made it what it is today.
He was just coming off the 1999 tour. He was prepping for the movie and the Purple Rain album. I was 26 years old. He hired me as his maintenance tech. It would have been like September 1983. He had the home on Kiowa Trail that was on Kiowa Trail in Chanhassen. And down in the basement level were 2 bedrooms, his bedroom, and just across the hallway from his bedroom was a smaller bedroom that he had converted into a studio. Right above me was the kitchen. His piano was right there where the dining room met the living room. It was right above me. So I could hear him playing all the pieces of music that would go into the Purple Rain. And the warehouse was really just for live rehearsals with the band.
And you had 96, you had The Time, and you had the Revolution, and they were all rehearsing. Everybody's on retainer, so he would rehearse constantly, even if there wasn't a tour around the corner. I mean, if he went to the studio and recorded a new song, he'd want to rehearse it with the band so they'd learn it, even before the record ever came out. But then if it's a tour 3 weeks away, then they get focused. The rehearsal might last 5 hours, but then he'd want to jam all night. After the rehearsal, all of a sudden started playing Body Heat and vamp on it for like an hour. They knew better than to make plans. You just didn't dare make plans. That's what retainers are for. You're on call, baby, 24/7. In fact, let's play First Avenue tonight at midnight. Get out of bed and come downtown. And understand something, from the day I got to Minnesota, I was the liaison between Prince and the management, because his management, Cavallo Ruffalo and Fargnoli, were based in L.A.
I don't know how important we are, but we did produce the film. My name's Joe Ruffalo. This is Bob Cavallo. We're missing another partner here, Steve Fargnoli, but I think...
Steve was the youngest of the managers. Joe was money guy who could always access network. Bob was more the formidable one.
I went to Geffen, and he had made that movie about the hookers and the college kid. Risky Business, yeah, Tom Cruise. He wanted me to wait another year, get Prince to be bigger, and make the movie for $1 million less than I thought we could make it.
Finally, tonight, comedian Richard Pryor is feeling better. Doctors at his Sherman Oaks, California hospital have taken him off the critical list. Pryor is responding well to skin graft treatments for burns he suffered at his home 3 weeks ago.
What we're looking for are good scripts that we can produce under my banner and put out in the marketplace. What we want to do is do quality films with the money that we have to do it with.
That was the birth of Indigo. We had $40 million that we could do anything we wanted to do.
Richard Pryor had a company called Indigo.
The movie Purple Rain was really the first venture that I wanted. And I said, Richard, this is it, man. I said, Prince is just about to break out. But Richard didn't know who Prince was.
Jim Brown wanted more control than knew was possible to give him. When you manage Prince, you know that you got to protect yourself from impossible situations. He's not going to listen to Jim Brown, no matter how big he is.
But somehow we passed it.
We went in, Mark Canton, who was the head of the studio at the time.
Terry Semmel.
And there was 3 women who were developing. They said, we read the script, and it's the most sexist, misogynistic script we've ever read. That dumpster scene is absolutely the worst. I said, so what are you going to do about it? I said, I'm not going to do anything. And then they said, we think it would be good to have John Travolta play Prince. And I said, I don't like that idea.
Albert Magnoli wrote the script. He didn't know what I looked like. So he's walking across the lobby. And as I watched him walk across the lobby, I noticed that he was extremely vulnerable, very much alone.
When my dad was playing in different clubs around Minneapolis, one of the owners would look around and tell him, they said, your son is out there. He's listening to you playing.
I mean, I played in little... what do you call trios for dances and things like that. Well, most of my music was playing for a stripper. Don't get it wrong now. Don't get the strippers and me mixed up with corn. Ba 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 boom, that's corn. You See, because the stripper is not a cornball up there. She's taking off a lot of pretty clothes. Someone paid a lot of money for him. He couldn't wait. He said, I just can't wait till I can get up there and do what you're doing. No, be a performer, a musician. If he do what I'm doing, I'm not stripping. I'm playing.
Once my mother remarried, she had to, it was during a time period in my life where she had to try to teach me about the birds and the bees. And I think I've never asked her about this, but I think there was some sort of plan to initiate me heavy and quick. So I was given Playboy magazine, and there was erotic literature laying around that was very easily picked up.
There were many phases that he went. Like at one point early on, he wanted to kind of put her in the category of a certain type of woman, almost very Oedipal, in a very weird way, of unresolved conflict. But then there was this really weird push-pull thing where then he would fly his dad first class and fly her coach.
Now I had all this new information. That new information created that entire arc when it had to do with the family and the violence, the father hoarding the music. All of it came with that walk.
I really wanted to chronicle the life I was living at the time. My love of rock music and living in Minneapolis, a lot of great talent, and Morris Day's performance, he was incredible in it.
The character that you see of Morris was an alter ego of Prince. How that developed, however, that character came from Morris.
It was a little of both. It was created. A lot of the antics was, like I said, stuff we do when the tape wasn't running, but then we decided to start doing that when the tape was running. And then, we just started getting crazy with it, and when we started having hit records, then we started getting cocky. It just grew, and it grew and grew. It's like, oh, people are digging it, so now we're really going to start cutting. And like I said, we brought it from behind the scenes to the forefront.
The guide vocals on those time tracks, the mannerisms that Morris used, Morris added his own spin.
A lot of rivalries. On the time and I, we were at a very good place musically.
And we were kicked out by the royal pomp, whatever, of Prince.
Well, yeah, Jimmy and Terry, they're my brothers, and they know I got much love for them, but...
He didn't want us to be doing other acts because, basically, the time was supposed to be paying our bills. Right. Which it wasn't, but hey, who cares?
Are you and Prince still friends? Oh, I suppose silent friends, more like silent friends, because we never see each other. It would be hard for me to see him because I admire him so much. And I had to do that. I had to make the choice. Did I want to pursue a solo career, or had I wanted, to do the film?
Contrary to rumors, we're all real tight still.
Probably love him for a long time.
It was a business thing. We're best of friends now.
That's right, Prince. We love you, man.
Yeah.
I wanted to chronicle that vibe.
The very first thing I did for him, the first tape he had me put up was Darling Nikki. He had me set up a vocal mic and get a rough mix on it. And I didn't see much of him, but he was just upstairs while I was downstairs. And I could hear him taking meetings with The Time and with Vanity 6 and with his band. And I had been told, don't bother him, let him work. And if he needs you, he'll come and find you. Prince needed to take a lot of meetings out in Los Angeles concerning the upcoming movie.
Around 83, Prince mentioned to me, he's like, don't you want to do your own record? I'm like, yeah, whatever. Prince would come to see our family play all the time. He was just blown away, like, God, you get to play with your dad and your brothers and Latin jazz music. He had never heard of that before.
Through that year, he was coming out to California a lot, and I'm at the studio, and he comes and attacks me in the bathroom. I came down to visit him. He asked me to come down, and I walked into the Studio A at Sunset Sound, and I say attack, but he didn't attack. But he was in the studio. Door was closed, so I needed to use the restroom. Shoes, click, 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 click. I open the door. He opens the door, shuts it tight, pushes me up against the wall, and he just starts kissing my face. And I'm like, whoa, whoa. So he's just kissing me all over the place. He's like, I can't stop thinking about you. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. And then he opens the door and he goes out.
Because, you try to keep your life private, your personal life, but, it's hard to do, and we tried to do that as much as we could, But we always, again, when you're writing songs and stuff, you kind of write about your own personal life. You kind of put that in there without really saying it. So, but it was a lot of fun.
I know that he was seeing other people at the time, although it never occurred to me to say, hey, if you're going to be coming after me, you may want to tell your friends that, like, it's got to be, just you and me. There's none of that. But it caused some ruckus. There was a woman he was seeing at the time who I think to this day still hates me for it, but I had no idea. I mean, sorry if you're listening. Not only did I not know who you were, it wouldn't have even occurred to me. So, sorry.
Oh, no, we got along. Susanna.
Everybody
but it
knew
might
it was
have been
his
fake from her side. I don't know. Because I didn't know.
Right.
She did, but I didn't know. I didn't really pay any attention to it. Until I found out, which is why we broke up. Then once we weren't together anymore, I was still in the band later on, but once we weren't together, then it didn't matter.
It was within that year that he was knocking on my door. Want to come down to the studio? See what we're doing right now? Sure. It started to progress. Like, I was getting focused attention from him. So I was like, yeah, extraordinarily talented. He was like a hero, even back then to me.
The movie is more complex, but to me it's just a larger version of an album.
Along another partner here, Steve Fargnoli.
Steve says, that story you pitched Bob? Forget it. We're doing the original script. I don't want to hear about this story.
I don't know what.
That's the script we're doing. Bob doesn't know what he's doing, and that's all there is to it.
True. I can't believe Stevie said that.
So by Monday, I was back in Los Angeles, having gone there on Friday night. Spent the day Saturday with Prince. I listened to 100 songs. He said, choose the ones you want. I listened, started building the show musically, narratively, and then, of course, screenplay narratively.
And he could shoot music. So he starts telling me about the closing scene in The Godfather. While Michael's at the baptism, all of his enemies are being killed. He said, that's how we'll open the movie. We'll have each of the parties in Morris Day and Apollonia and whoever, all preparing for the night. In the meantime, Prince is doing a song. I thought, well, that's a pretty brilliant opening. Introduce all the characters.
That I didn't have Purple Rain. I didn't have When Doves Cry. These songs were non-existent.
So we start going, and we're using my money and Prince's money. There's no deal. I have no studio wants it, nothing.
So you guys shot the whole movie on your money?
We shot the movie. We had run out of money. If I get too far behind, or if I'm not overseeing the shooting of a picture of some quality, they can take the movie from us. Which would have meant being fired by Prince. It was kind of nightmarish.
So we went on a completely national platform at that time trying to find Vanity. Now here's the interesting thing. I flew to various states to meet with whoever was auditioning, and they were all trying to be like Vanity. They all came in looking like Vanity, they acted like Vanity, and it wasn't all that interesting. We had the real person, now these people are kind of coming in. What was fantastic about Apollonia, she just came in, and she was extremely sweet about I'm just here. And we spoke for a while, and then I liked her right away, and that's when I called Prince and I said, I'd like you to meet her. And
he said, don't do it, but I got to do it.
And I always knew how strategic Michael was.
Michael Jackson, and also Prince.
It was definitely shady.